Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome in to a Tuesday edition of the JP Peterson Show. I'm looking for my headphones. There they are. Beautiful. How are you? Nick Geddes, Outkick.com. Enjoy that game last night?
Not really. I don't enjoy watching the football being run 50 times by one team, but I'll get my fix in with Army Navy this weekend, so didn't need to see a preview to that.
A little 34 wham about 16 times in the game. That's not entertaining to you, watching Will Andrews run up the middle and do lead blocking for the Patriots? No, not a big.
No, I would have rather seen Josh Allen throw it 30 times and Mac Jones throw it 25.
The highlight of the entire game was the pregame show when Adam Schefter got blown off his chair. That was the highlight of the entire night on Monday Night Football. That was bizarre last night at the as the Patriots win 14-10. But here's the thing: so that win sets up, according to FPI, ESPN's FPI, the most likely Super Bowl scenario at this moment. You guessed it. The Bucs against the Patriots. Tom Brady against Bill Belichick. 2 weeks of nonstop. I'm looking forward to it already. You know what? Is it a dream matchup in the Super Bowl? Absolutely. Love to see it. And then half of me is like dreading 2 weeks of lead up to that. Like,
I was about to say,
1 week was bad enough.
I'll see myself out those 2 weeks if it happens, because I won't be able to take it. I really won't.
Well, we're going to the Super Bowl, so we'll be out there. That's happening. We going to announce that a little bit, maybe a couple weeks when we get everything wrapped up. But we're headed out to the Super Bowl, so wouldn't it be nice to be covering the Bucs and the Patriots at LA at SoFi Stadium? That would be fun. No doubt about that. But got a long way to go, kids. A long way to go. But as I did remind you before the show, after the Bucs beat the Patriots back in week 3 or 4, whatever it was. What did I say? You hate when I do this. I know.
I do. I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all.
This is why I'm divorced. This is what I did to my wife the entire time. You know when I'm right.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell. I feel like I'm being interrogated here. I don't like it one bit, but I'll guess whatever. JP Peterson during week 4 said that the Patriots were going to be a playoff team when nobody else was giving them that credit, and they were saying the Bucs squeaked out a win against a bad team. That was being said. Before the season, JP Peterson also said that Mac Jones would not only start over Cam Newton, but win more games than any rookie quarterback. He is now 9-4.
Check.
I believe he has more wins than in all the other quarterbacks combined, rookies, if I'm mistaken.
Check.
So there you go.
Well, that's why I signed your paycheck. You get to do that like at least 3 times a week.
That would be a great time to have the Mike Tomlin audio queued up.
What's that?
The Tomlin Claypool audio.
The division of labor?
Yeah. Now would be a great time to have it queued up.
I think that's an appropriate division of labor. I make the predictions. You pat me on the back forcibly. Yeah. That's how that works. Okay. Good enough. Yeah, as we're watching the Micah Hyde audio, we need to cue that up and play that as well, just from tonight. Yeah, it's a bizarre game. 45, 50-mile-an-hour winds. Can't kick, can't throw. Belichick, we'll talk about this with Gradkowski tomorrow. Hopefully we can get him on tomorrow. He hopefully survived Disney with his kids. But when we went up to the Meadowlands and it was blowing like that, and Gruden had Gradkowski throw the ball 50 times. Can you imagine Allen throwing the ball like 50 times last night? I don't know if it was 50, but it was an inordinate amount.
See, I feel like he could have, because the times he did throw the ball, he's so strong with his arm that he's cutting through the wind with it.
Yeah.
I feel like he could have thrown more, and maybe they would have had a chance to win the game, to be honest.
Or
Mac
lose
Jones,
the game.
Mac Jones, the other hand,
lose the game.
Yeah, Mac Jones, on the other hand, I saw him throw that first pass of the game to Jonnu Smith, and I'm like, oh no, he does not need to throw anymore. He did not.
Well, it just goes to show you that the old adage is, as much as we hate it, I think it was Bear Bryant that said it. When you throw the football, 2 out of 3 things that can happen are bad. And it's like, of course, a little more complex than that, but you're going to get it. You can get a pick. There's a lot of bad things that can happen. Good things can happen too, but you can run the football even when they know you're going to run the football, and you can control the game and not make mistakes and win a football game. And I think so often in this modern times, we forget that can be a winning formula. I mean, you can just bludgeon teams to death and you're going to keep yourself from making bad mistakes. I mean, we could go back to, which game was it this weekend where they had the ball 3rd and 2, and instead of in 4-down territory, and instead of going for it, no, it was the Falcons did this. Remember when they had a 3rd and 2, and they come out in a heavy package like they're going to run it twice in 4-down territory, and then they right before the snap they flank everybody out and try to throw a pass and get sacked, and now it's 4th and 7. If you just pound it twice, you're going to probably get the first down with Cordell Patterson. And you outsmart yourself. You make it about yourself as the coach, Arthur Smith. Like I got this great. I'm gonna outsmart Todd Bowles. When all you got to do is just line up and run the damn ball twice, and you're 95% of the time you're going to get a first down. And so many times, a lot of these coaches, these offensive gurus especially, want to make it about themselves and not about the players. This is what Gruden used to do with Allstott. He had Allstott, didn't know how to use them because you can't draw up on a grease board what Allstott brings to the game. He pounds you into submission. You can't X and O that stuff. It's just you hand them the ball in the fourth quarter, and they're going to quit. That's just how it works. And there's no genius to that in terms of play calling or scheme. So the offensive gurus don't want to do it because you're just basically just trusting your players to go hammer people. And, to me, that's genius. That's coaching genius. Doing it the other way, trying to make it about you, is not.
And the Bills, after last night, it's one of the reasons why I'm moving them almost into that pretender category, because as we get into this colder weather and games like that, they can't run the football.
They can't run the football.
They couldn't break 100 yards of the football. They don't have a dominant back. They're working with Breida, Singletary, Moss. I mean, you can't get anything going like that. It's ridiculous. And Josh Allen, he did throw 30 times yesterday looking back at the box score. He did.
They have to. He's their whole game. He's their whole team. They're one-dimensional. They're Josh Allen. It's like one-dimensional, really one-dimensional. They're like the Ravens. It's, if the quarterback doesn't play great, you got no shot. Your defense is for shiz. Your running game is crap. You're not a good football team. And now they're coming here on a short week after that physical pounding that they took. Bucs are going to roll their ass.
I almost get a Rams quality out of the Bills. They feel like the Rams of the AFC right now. They got pushed around yesterday.
They always do. They can get bullied. They're a finesse team.
And they're going to come now, and it's relevant because obviously that's next up on the Bucs schedule.
Yeah.
You do have a desperate Bills team that's now 7-5, and all of a sudden the playoffs are not guaranteed because the AFC is deep. They have to beat the Bucs. The Bucs are undefeated at home, however. Mm-hmm. So if you're the Bucs, I mean, they have a chance to really put some pressure on this team, a team that can't run the football. The Bucs already know that they could stop the run. Josh Allen's probably going to go 50 times against the Bucs. So it's looking like a better matchup for the Bucs today.
And we welcome the Bills Mafia to Tampa Bay. And I'll say this, you got a problem as a football team when your fan base is tougher than you are. I don't see any of those offensive linemen or their running backs jumping onto a table from the top of an SUV.
No, but JP, Dawson Knox was walking around during the snow with no sleeves on.
Yeah.
Tough man.
Yeah.
He dropped 2 third downs in the fourth quarter.
And maybe because he was cold.
Maybe he needs to go take a nap or something.
Because he had frostbite from pregame. Not good. So we'll see the Bills coming up this Sunday at Raymond James Stadium. Yeah, and look, you look at the trends over the years on teams that play on Monday Night Football the following week, and they've got to come down here on a short week, and their bodies, after that physical pounding they took last night from the Patriots, are going to be hurting. They're going to be in the cold tub till about Friday, and then they're going to have to get up and come down here and play what I think is the best football team in the NFL right now, and we're going to get into that as we speak. Quick. Set up for the show right now, 9 minutes in. Sorry, very bad hosting on my part. Got a great show for you today because Dave Mishkin's going to join us at 10:15 live from the morning skate in Montreal. So that's coming up here in just mere moments. The great Scott Reynolds from Pewter Report will join us at 10:30, and TJ Reeves, Buck sideline guy, at 11:15. Got a lot of other stuff to get to. And real quick, because we're going to have to take an early break here to get to Dave Mishkin. Florida State is reportedly set to hire Vince Tyra today, the University of Louisville athletic director. I spent an inordinate amount of time yesterday because I got a couple of calls from some concerned Florida State fans and said, we get this guy out. And so the digging that I did turned up a lot of alarms. I'm really red flags. And let me just be honest with you. I don't know Vince Tyra from the hole in the wall. I don't know the guy at all. So I'm going off a lot of information from some people I trust implicitly, no doubt about it. And they're using words like fraud, buffoon. Everyone in the athletic department is hoping that he leaves. He's a disaster. What the F is FSU thinking? And just up from the outside, just from the pure resume of this man, he was a corporate raider, venture capitalist, whatever you want to call it, the Stu Sternbergs of the world. Before he got into athletics 3 years ago, as the story goes, the head of the board of regents of University of Louisville was looking for kind of an outside business guy to come in, tap this guy who had zero experience in being an athletic director or an athletic administrator, was a pitcher for the University of Kentucky, their rival, which is bizarre that you would hire. I don't think Florida State's hiring a Gator graduate anytime soon to be their AD, but. That being what it is, honestly, that's not even the worst part about the story. The worst part about the story is he's put the athletic department in complete disarray. The people that work for him despise him. And this is coming from two very reputable sources, one actually within the athletic department of the University of Louisville, and they're hoping to God that FSU takes this guy's off their hands. Now, FSU it has already made a rushed hire before in Willie Taggart that didn't turn out so well. Why we're rushing this hire and not fully vetting this guy is bizarre. And I'll say this, I've never in my life witnessed an AD search where there are so many red flags about a guy. I mean, normally it's like, is this guy good enough? Let's debate whether he's good enough to be our AD. This is like, not only is he not good enough, doesn't have the resume, but my God, I mean, all these red flags from people that work for him. And again, I have nothing personal against Vince Tyra. I have no dog in this fight. I just want FSU to get the best guy available. And with conference realignment possibly coming up, there's always been rumors about FSU getting an invitation to a super conference or to the SEC. I mean, these are weighty issues that take people that are very, very well connected within the college athletic world to be able to call people and maneuver to get you into the right position. And these are decisions that will play out. This is, especially for FSU. If there was a 32-team super conference that came alive right now, my God, would FSU even be in? I don't know. It would take somebody very skillful, politically skillful, with lots of connections to make sure that happens. This guy ain't the guy. This is not the guy for that. He doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the connections. And from what I'm hearing from, and being AD is a relationship business. This guy is terrible. He's undercut his president publicly in the situation with his, if you've heard about the Chris Mack situation, the basketball coach that he hired, there was an extortion attempt by an assistant coach. I mean, it's just chaos. And this is not the guy you go out and hire if you're Florida State. This is, and again, I have nothing personal against the guy. I'm just hearing, from very good sources, a lot of bad things. And this is a critical hire for Florida State, and this is not the guy, in my opinion, whatsoever. They can do way better. You look at Miami, just got Radakovich, maybe the best in the business from Clemson, and paying him, ungodly amount of money. But we're going to take a Louisville cast off, a guy they frankly don't want, did not extend his contract last night at the Board of Regents meetings. He may be fired this morning at the ULAA meeting. So I don't know how in the world FSU would even be considering this guy, to be quite honest. But evidently, this deal reportedly is done and will be consummated at noon today. For myself, I'm very much going out on a limb here. An FSU guy, if he gets the job, this guy's going to hate me for the rest of his life. But I'm just trying to do what's best for the university and reporting what I'm hearing. And I'm not the only one saying this stuff. It's all over Twitter. So FSU, beware. All right, quick break. When we come back, Dave Mishkin will join us, and we'll talk some Lightning hockey. Boy, this team is on a roll. I love the way they're playing. All the new faces are chipping in. So we'll talk to the great Mish when we come back. Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up. Is your health care way too expensive? Well, with the new Biden administration, health care laws have changed dramatically. Now you can get health care insurance through the Affordable Care Act for little or no cost to you. In fact, with the new laws, 90% of Americans qualify for reduced or free health care. Great plans like Florida Blue. That's my carrier. Absolutely love them. I'm paying $600 less after making the call. 877-652-0244. The representative will walk you through the whole process. Just get some basic information on your income, number of kids, and then they'll find a plan that best fits your needs. They know all the intricacies of these new laws. They will do all the work. You save tons of money. This opportunity will not last long, and you'll have to wait till 2022 to get the deal. So give them a call. It's real health insurance, free doctor visits, free blood work, no deductibles. 877-652-0244. 877-652-0244. Are you in the market for a refinance or looking for a new home? You got to call my man, Fitz the Mortgage Guy, Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. I have got literally a notebook here of testimonials on what a great job he's done for so many of our listeners. Scott saved me $1,200 up front. Scott paid for my appraisal. Scott got my PMI taken off. Scott helped me pay off my car. Well, he didn't give him money, but he refinanced. One-of-a-kind collections that you won't find anywhere else. You'll see some of the best designers only at the Golden Diamond Source. And every diamond is hand-selected by Steve for rarity, purity, and beauty. That's a big, big deal. He's an expert in the business, been doing this for over 30 years. So you're going to get the best diamonds at the best prices. They also offer in-house custom design jewelry. If you want to design something yourself, you can do that. And guys, are you looking for that baller watch? Great Rolex watch. They've got a fantastic selection of pre-owned Rolex watches for great prices. So go check them out. And every Golden Diamond Source piece comes with the most elegant packaging, including lighted gift boxes. That's the new rage. That's going to wow your girl. So guys, get on down to the Golden Diamond Source and get this rare experience. It's the best in the business. Tampa Bay's family jewelry for generations.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Chris Palermo. You can contact Christopher at palermopa.com. All right, let's head on up to Montreal, where Les Habitants will be hosting the Tampa Bay Lightning, the red-hot Tampa Bay Lightning. The voice of the Bolts, Dave Mishkin, joins us now from the Bell Center, I believe. What's up, Dave? How are you?
You believe correctly, JP. I am in an empty Bell Center right now, other than Brian Engblom and Dave Randorf in the stands anyway. And the Lightning are about to take the ice.
Wow, you're in royalty company right there.
I am in
fantastic.
royalty, they allowed me to grace they're gracing my presence anyway.
What you lack in quantity, you make up in quality, my friend. So, so there you go. Is it blowing 80 miles an hour outside like it was in Buffalo last night? Is the weather crazy?
The wind, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of football during hockey season. I just have so much going on. But because we had an off night last night, and I had heard that the conditions were going to be, let's say, unique. I did watch some of that game.
Crazy.
It is as cold, though, as it looked in Buffalo. But the wind is not anything like what they were dealing with.
Good. Safety first. Man, what a weekend it was for the Lightning, man. I'm surprised you're not hoarse from all those goal calls in Philadelphia as well. But and we saw some of this kid line, Taylor Radish and Tkachuk are really, really stepping up. And we're seeing why, people talk about the future of this team in such glowing terms. I mean, these kids look really, really good. What are your thoughts on what you saw this weekend from Radish and Colton and Tkachuk?
Well, it's what I've been seeing from them as a line over the last several weeks, JP. Yeah. And this is a way different position that they have put themselves in, and how the Lightning and people around the team are viewing that. And you can just play back what you said about them. Mm-hmm. That is way different than where we were 2 months ago. Yes. Because coming into the season, and I think some of these questions are still needing to be answered. Mm-hmm. The big question that you hear, I hear, maybe the Lightning are asking it themselves, how are we going to replace the Yanni Gourde line? Yep. And I don't know that we have an answer to that question. I don't know that we're going to get a specific answer to that question until, if the Lightning can get into the playoffs, we hit that point. And it may not be the exact same look. It may be trying to reach the same destination, just going a different route. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it doesn't have to be an exact carbon copy of what Gourde, Coleman, and Goodrow brought. But I think that was the question going into the year. And part of the question was going to be answered by these young guys we have in the organization who have yet to take a big step forward. Now, remember, Radish and Tkachuk have been pro players this is their 4th year. So they have not yet gotten to the NHL, unlike some other guys. Mm-hmm. So the questions were out there just about, where are they? Are they going to evolve into regular, reliable NHL players? And I'm not sure that they blew anyone away in camp. I mean, at one point, John Cooper said somebody needs to walk through the door here. This was during the preseason. Yeah. And at the start of the year, both were more so. Radish was in and out, Tkachuk was in and out. Radish was more in than out, but neither one really was putting his stamp on a game until I think they put that line together. Yeah. And playing with Colton, you can see that, I'm talking about Radish and Tkachuk, their confidence level has gone up. And their confidence level went up, even though they weren't scoring, but they were getting so many chances, and the line was doing such terrific work, having the puck, forcing the other team to play defense, being a pain in the rear end of the other team. Like that, how do you measure success? Well, for them, that was success, because they were having an impact on the game, and they were getting chances. And you just had to feel it was only going to be a matter of time before the puck went in for one, if not both. And it turned out that it did this weekend, right? Yep, yeah. Like, it seems like they've been linked since they were little boys. Yeah. And, they turned pro at the same time, same draft year, same round they were taken. Yeah. They played together at the end of their junior career. They joined Syracuse at the same time. They come up at the same time. And lo and behold, Taylor scores his first NHL goal on Saturday, and Boris scores his first NHL goal on Sunday. So there you go. Getting back to the question about twins, what does this mean as far as replacing the guys left? I think the Lions are really pleased with what they've seen from their younger players, and frankly from the guys who were not young but were brought in as veteran guys that needed to be integrated. Talking about Perry and Belmar, and let's throw in Bogosian too, because he was away for a year. I think all of those guys are pulling on the rope right now in the same direction. And it's been really important that they have given the Lightning so many quality minutes, given the fact that Kucherov and now Point have been out injured long term.
And this is what's amazing about this team. I mean, you look at the different, you look at the names on the Stanley Cup, and the guys that are on the ice right now, there's a strong, 8 of them that were huge contributors last year that are not. Yet here is this team just banking points. How much credit do we have to give to the coaching staff, player development, drafting, and just, the leadership on this team? Victor Hedman was the number 2 star in the NHL last week, and it almost seemed like, when he had a couple of bad moments, he just willed the team to win games and come back and play. And it's that competitive spirit, I think, that just literally is pulsing through the Lightning's veins. It's you see it a lot in the Bucs as well with their leadership. And these two teams, I think, are very, very similar in that way. Talk a little bit about that dynamic.
Well, it's an organizational championship.
Yep.
I mean, I can speak certainly much more about the Lightning than the Bucs, and I don't have the same level of knowledge about like how players are developed in the NFL. But I do have a lot of experience seeing how that works at the NHL level or within an NHL organization. And you hit the nail on the head. It's all of it.
Yeah.
It's drafting. It's developing. And you do a lot of developing before the player turns pro even. Because the player is drafted and a couple of years may pass before that player actually turns pro. By turning pro, I mean that he's eligible to play in Syracuse, let's say, or at the Lightning, but often they start in Syracuse. And then when they're in Syracuse, the coaching staff there and the player development people the Lightning have are trying to help that player reach his potential. And sometimes like a player is drafted and the draft experts, and I'm not using that term with derision, they are experts.
Right.
Like they know a lot more about some of these guys than certainly I do. I haven't seen them play. They have, but they say, this player's ceiling is this. Well, you know what? Maybe that player can change what that ceiling is.
Yep. Braden point.
By exactly. By developing or working with the development staff to improve certain parts of his game. And I think we have seen that repeatedly with the Lightning, where when Ross Colton was drafted, I'm not sure that many of the draft experts expected that he would be scoring the clinching goal in the Stanley Cup final.
Right.
But here we are.
Yep.
And so that's a credit to him, the credit to the organization that is working with him to help him improve. So I think it's all of that. And I'm just going to say this about banking points. So there are a couple of things heading into this season specifically for the Lightning that I think, and one thing that's specific to them and one thing that is not specific to them that's true of every team. The thing that's specific to them is they were going to have to figure out how they were going to integrate these newer players, both new to the NHL and new to their organization, and figure that out. And it may not happen overnight, although it's looking good right now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, get points.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't play for the Stanley Cup if you don't get in the playoffs. The way you get in the playoffs is making sure that you have enough points during the regular season. So you have this one kind of like lab experiment going on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're like, okay, while we do the lab experiment, we can't like blow up the laboratory, right? Like we need to accumulate points while we're doing this. And the other part is that is true of every team. There are parts in your schedule that are going to be more challenging than others.
Yeah.
When you're having to play 5 games in 8 nights, when you're playing in 5 different cities over those 8 nights, when you're facing a team that's rested and you're coming in playing the second half of a back-to-back, every team goes through that, and then like the balance swings. Sometimes the Lightning are home resting when a tired team comes in and plays them. Like they weren't tired from a long road trip, but I think Seattle, when the Lightning really manhandled Seattle.
Right.
You're like, okay, well, Seattle's an expansion team, whatever. Like Seattle's won some games. They beat Carolina and Washington.
Yep.
They beat Florida.
Yeah.
They were the first team to beat Florida in Florida. What happened? Well, you know what? They had 2 emotional wins. And then after the second emotional win at home, they flew cross country.
Right.
To see the Lightning. They were the first opponent that Seattle had on the road trip, and they looked like a team that had just flown cross country.
Yes, exactly.
Frankly.
Yeah.
And the Lightning deserve what they got, but sometimes you're going to have that in your schedule where you have the advantage. But I think a key is when you don't have that circumstantial advantage, you got to find a way to still get points.
Yeah,
and the Lightning have done that. They're kind of in this stretch now where they're playing a lot of games, 7 of 8 on the road. And you look back, okay, they lost to Minnesota, but they got a point in St. Louis. They beat St. Louis at home. They managed to get the game to overtime in Boston, even though, frankly, they were outplayed for much of it. And they ended up winning the game.
Yep.
Then they faced a Philly team that was rested. They were playing the second half of a back-to-back. They won that game. So that's important. It's important to not let the grind of the regular season affect your ability to kind of keep your playoff pace in terms of the points that you're accumulating. So I think the Lightning have checked both those boxes so far, which is why they're sitting where they are right now in the standings.
All right, Mish, I know you got to go do some work there. Can you give me 30 seconds on tonight's game against Montreal? Any obviously a Stanley Cup rematch from last year, but two very different teams, I would probably say.
Yeah, I mean, the Canadiens are really struggling.
Yeah.
I mean, they fired their GM, and they don't have a lot of the players they had even on the Cup run last year. Either those players have left, like Corey Perry, or like Carey Price is dealing with injury and taking some time away, which he should. I mean, I'm glad that he's taking care of himself that way, but he hasn't been available. They have other guys hurt. I think Gallagher's on the COVID list. So it's just like a massive headwind for this organization. But the Lightning have to be ready because I think the players that played against them in the final last year would like to serve up a rather cold dish.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So they should be ready. They should be ready for a spirited opponent tonight.
All right, Mish. Always great to catch up with you, my man. Have a great call tonight, and we'll chat with you down the road. Appreciate you.
All right, JP. Take care. Thanks.
Great, Dave Mishkin right there. Go! Can't wait for another call. That Stammer call was awesome. That was so good against Boston. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, the great Scott Reynolds from Pewter Report will join us, and we'll ask him, are the Bucs the best team of the NFL right now? What does he think of a Super Bowl matchup with Bill Belichick? Stay with us. JP here for Roof Max. And if you own a home or business with an asphalt shingle roof, listen up. Shingles are made from a petrochemical, just like the roads, so they get old, get brittle, and have to be replaced for tens of thousands of dollars. But not anymore. Remember this name, Roof Max. They have created a natural bio oil that is professionally sprayed on a dried out roof. It doesn't clean it, coat it, or seal it. It actually penetrates the shingle and brings back its bendability and weatherproofing properties to almost new. So the question is, does it work? Yeah, the research was done by Ohio State University independently, and it's clinically proven to work. It's guaranteed for up to 15 years. Now, one of the sharks on Shark Tank invested in this, so you know it's great, and they've successfully rejuvenated tens of thousands of roofs. So yes, it worked. So don't shell out 20 grand for a new roof. Call RoofMax at 352-559-9981 or go to roofmaxnorthflorida.com. That's 352-559-9981. Get it done for a fraction of the price of a new roof, guaranteed. Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now. So go with title.com. Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up. Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can reach Christopher at palermopa.com if you have any issues with stucco damage on your house or building mishaps from you if you've just built a house. He's the man to take on those construction companies and the big insurance companies as well. Get what you deserve in your claims. Christopher Palermo at palermopa.com. All right, let's check in with our good friend Scott Reynolds from Pewter Report. Hello, Scotty. How are you, my friend?
Good. How are you doing, JP?
Good, good. Even better this morning when I heard ESPN say our FPI percentage has the most likely Super Bowl matchup as the Patriots against the Buccaneers. How about that?
Yeah.
How about 2 weeks of Brady Belichick hype? Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that would be insane, right? Their rematch. I'll tell you what, this is a different Patriots team than we saw back in Week 4 when Mac Jones was a young pup back then. I mean, he looked like a frozen pup last night playing in that game, only throwing 3 passes. But the Patriots defense is for real, man. I mean,
it is.
Matthew Judon and Van Noy and just all those guys are playing great team defense. You expect nothing less from Belichick. But you know what? This isn't the same Buccaneer team either. This was a Buccaneer team that has put up over 30 points. I should say 30 points or more in the last 2 games on the road. That's something that was missing early.
That's right.
This season when they only put up 19 in that game in Foxborough. And so I think that the Bucs are trending in the right direction. I would be surprised at this point if they lost in another game. I think they've really got enough things turned around. Are they perfect? No. Are there concerns with the defense? Yes. But I think that Brady and this offense are getting back to that level where they're just hard to beat. I mean, when you can score 30 points or more on the road and 38 at home, I mean, that's the scoreboard right now.
And Chris Godwin's performance this weekend just kind of punctuates a lot of what I've been saying, and I'm sure you've been saying for quite some time. I personally think he's the best all-around receiver in the game with everything he brings to the table. You saw his toughness the other day. I mean, 17 targets, 15 catches. The catch percentage is off the charts. Competitive. Yeah. And one thing I said about, and by the way, congrats to Mike Evans, nominated for the Man of the Year, Walter Payton Man of the Year today. And both of these young men are incredible role models, professionals. They're the best human beings you may ever meet in your life. And they're spectacular wide receivers. Their diva level is 0. And we're going to look back 20 years and be talking about this Godwin Evans connection with Brady, and this wide receiver tandem is maybe the best, well, certainly the best the Bucs have ever had, but I think they're going to be historic. Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, you and I go back to the days of Duper and Clayton and Jerry Rice and John Taylor, Lynn Stallworth Lynn Swan and John Stallworth. I mean, there's been some great teams, and I think these guys are trending in that mix. Now, the biggest thing to that point, though, is getting Chris Godwin under contract. And I'll tell you what, I wrote in my 2-point conversion column today that it seems like Bruce Arians has turned into Chris Godwin's agent because, I mean, that was a showcase franchise performance for the franchise tag guy right there. I mean, that's, when Chris Godwin and his agent go to Jason Light, I mean, I think Jason Light would look at Bruce Arians and say, dude, you're killing me, man. Like this guy's lighting it up and I got to pay him, and the more he catches, the more he makes.
Right.
But the interesting dynamic will be this. You said it, these guys have got no diva. They're 2 selfless players, great teammates. But the one thing that this is some inside information that the front office is kind of fretting about is right now you've got Mike Evans making an average of $16.5 million per year. He's a little underpaid, right? I mean, that puts him 10th as on the wide receiver rankings in terms of average salary per year. And then you've got Chris Godwin now at 15.9 on that franchise tag. Mm-hmm. The thing is Evans did a deal a couple of years ago, right? And these things always leapfrog. I mean, look at where DeAndre Hopkins is now, the highest paid receiver, well over $25 million per season. But the thing is, do you pay Chris Godwin more than you pay Mike Evans when Evans has been a guy that's produced, 1,000-yard seasons for the first 7 years of his Tampa Bay career, and is leading the team in touchdowns this year with 9. But the thing is Godwin, his role is even more valuable as the slot receiver in this Arians offense. He's got 25 more catches than Evans. Yep. I don't think Evans is going to have a problem if the Bucs say, Chris, we're going to pay you $17 million. But you know what? There's a part of me that I think that the Buccaneers, just for the sake of respecting Mike Evans, if they try to get Chris Godwin to come in at like 16.45 or something, or at least 16.5, just for optics, just to say, Mike, we still respect you as as the top dog. You're 1A, but we're going to make Chris 1B, and I think that would be fine. And at the same time, just given the economics, given the fact it's going to be 2022, Mike did his deal a couple years ago. If they have to pay Chris $17 million or 18.5, whatever it is, I don't think Mike's going to care about it either way.
No, neither. And that's the beauty of it, man. That's the beauty of it right there. These guys are not those guys. Not the, dare I say, the ABs of the world. That's something that's going to stick in their craw. Mike doesn't care. Mike's too busy giving away his money right now. He's.
I was going to say that. Yes, that's exactly right. It's like
he must have enough because he's giving a lot away. Yeah, which is fantastic. And that's what.
It really is. I mean, people ask me, has Mike Evans changed since he got that big money deal? And I said, he's even more philanthropic now than he was when he had less money. Right?
I know. It's unbelievable, these guys and how good they are. I don't know, since, you and I have been around the league, and we and I've been in other places, covered the Falcons, worked for the Falcons and in other places. You think, oh, well, I'm sure all other teams are like this. No, not. This is a very, very special team. It's one of the reasons that they won the Super Bowl, because they don't have any divas. You come here, you got to fit in. You got, you shelve your ego, you shelve yourself, your selfishness, you shelve it all. It's all about the team right now.
Great point, JP.
Yeah, and that's not the way it is.
JP, they even took the out of the diva himself and Antonio Brown, right?
They did.
Seriously, think about that. This locker room that Jason Light has taken, it's taken the diva out of.
Yeah, we're losing you a little bit there. I don't know what happened to your phone there. But, as we look forward down the line, obviously injuries are the number one determining factor on how this team is going to finish, because when you look across the board, relatively speaking, I mean, every team has weaknesses, but this is a team that seems to be able to, put makeup on those warts, whatever they are. And you just, they can, and they're also very Belichickian in that they can make great halftime adjustments because they have the talent and the intelligent players to do so. I made this point yesterday, if a team is running on you, every team's going to say, oh, we got to stop the run. But do you have the horses, the talent, and the intelligence to be able to make those switches during the game? And the Bucs do. And we saw that in the last few weeks, really, and that they're unique in that ability.
Well, and look no further than the fact that, everything's set up for the Falcons at the end of the first half, right? It's like that fluke touchdown by Marlon Davidson, and good play by him.
Great play.
That was like right place, right time, miracle catch by defensive tackle, for the touchdown. So it's like you've got the Falcons coming out of the third quarter with the ball. They're trailing by 3. They've got momentum. They're a happy locker room. Bowles is going ballistic in the Bucs locker room. What are the Falcons going to do? What is Arthur Smith's MO? He wants to run the ball. AP, they ran the ball 10 times for about 100 yards in the first half. I think it was like 97 or whatever it was, right?
Yeah, 101. Yeah.
They ran the ball. Yeah, they ran the ball 10 times for 20 yards the rest of the game, right? So, I mean, that's the thing. Bowles knew that, okay, I mean, they're gonna come out. They've had some success. They've ripped off some big runs, and he made the adjustments. The Bucs defensive front made up. They'd had much, I should say, much better gap discipline, filling their gaps, and they took it to him, and they took away what the Falcons wanted to do in the third quarter, and that really just stymied their whole offensive approach the second half. The Pierre Desser forced fumble was big. They got some timely sacks on third downs. Yeah, there were a couple third and longs. They couldn't get off the field. That's something that Bowles is going to work on. That's a little troublesome, but we're seeing more sacks now. Vita Vea had one, and Ndamukong Suh had one. We're seeing more sacks come, not on first and second down, but on third down. That's the money down. That's where you get the guys off the field and force the punt. And so I think the Bucs, it's not just that they had 5 sacks. They had some really timely sacks.
Yep.
So we're starting to see this pass rush come on. And it's not just Shaq Barrett and the outside linebackers. We're starting to see Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea, really step up as interior rushers as well.
Scott Reynolds, Pewter Report, joining us here. If you look ahead the schedule, you look ahead at what's ahead of this. You got AB coming back in a couple of weeks, hopefully. And let's let me just ask you about that. I mean, Bruce kind of left it open ended. as to what they're going to do with he and Mike Edwards. Which I think was smart, by the way. Let things cool off. Let the Romano columns and all the indignation about whatever the hell happened. Just chill a little bit, and in 3 weeks we'll all be like, okay, it's not that big a deal. Nobody got murdered here, unless if you read a column, you think somebody did. No, it didn't happen. What he did was stupid. We all admit it. We all agree. But they're not cutting this guy over this. They're not doing that.
Absolutely not.
No,
absolutely not.
Because who you're punishing? You're punishing the
funny.
fans. You're punishing the team. Yeah, no, that ain't happening.
Yeah, exactly what you said, right, about letting it cool off. Do you remember when Aaron Rodgers and the whole flap over the whole COVID thing happened? What happened? What did State Farm do? They took his ads off, right? Guess what I saw on Sunday during football? Aaron Rodgers, State Farm ads, right? It's like, that was a big story. Oh, State Farm not running Aaron Rodgers ads anymore. They don't let it cool off for 2 weeks, and then he's back on. I mean, that's exactly what's going to happen. You're exactly right. And listen, make no mistake about it. Antonio Brown was brought to Tampa as a mercenary. He is a hired gun. The team does not care if he starts a foundation. The team does not care if he's a community guy. The team does not care if he wants to, give away tickets or do things in the community for charities, whatever. They don't care. Catch passes, win games, AB. That's his role.
Yep.
Whether you like it or not, that's his role.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? When he comes back in 2 weeks, and if the heel is healthy, he's going to be doing that exactly for the Buccaneers, catching passes, winning games. They'll deal with next year. But right now, he is going to be part of this Buccaneer Super Bowl run, trying to get back-to-back titles. He is going to be part of their playoff push. And, John Romano and Buccaneer fans that agree with him, you're not going to like it, but who cares?
Yeah, I often reference Bobby Bowden when he, when everybody wanted Janikowski kicked off the team when he broke curfew in New Orleans, and Bobby's like, I'm not doing that. That's what our opponents want us to do. We'll discipline that boy. We'll take care of that. You don't worry about that. But I'm not going to punish the team. I'm not going to punish the fans. We got a game to win. I mean, you get to a point. You got a key player like, look, and yes, does it depend on the level of the offense? Absolutely, and we can argue that, but the one thing they're not going to do is destroy their take a key player out of this situation when they don't have to. And I think that's smart. Talk to me a little bit about what you see though. All puns aside for Bruce Arians' Achilles, but their Achilles heel down the stretch. To me, it's right now the only thing that I see that's a problem is third down defense, and Carlton Davis coming back is going to be a huge help in making that better when he gets back to full strength. What are your thoughts? What do you think could derail this team?
I think it's on the defensive side, because I think that when they've got 3 out of their 4 big guns, and I mean 3 out of the 4, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski, Chris Godwin right now, the other one is the 4th one, AB, when he comes back. As long as they have 3 out of the 4, they can win.
Right.
You saw that last year when Brown was not available for second half of the Saints game and for that Packers game. They still won.
Right.
Because they had 3 out of the 4. So I think as long as they get 3 out of the 4, right, and it was tough when AB was out and Gronk was out, right?
It's a great point.
As long as they have 3 out of the 4, I'm not worried about the offense. This offensive line has been the underdog,
tremendous.
The unheralded story this year. They've been tremendous. 10 games since last year, 10 games without a sack by this offensive line. That's the best in the league. So they are playing some phenomenal football. The Achilles heel is going to be on the defensive side. And it's the fact that they rely so much on the big play.
Yeah.
They rely so much on the sacks and the turnovers. And when they're not there, such as the Washington game,
right,
it can get ugly, right? I mean, the Washington football team had no business putting up 29 points on this team, especially that last fourth quarter drive, which consumed about all of the fourth quarter, just about. Yeah. That's the Achilles heel. If they don't get the sacks, if they don't get the takeaways, they're not a good enough, sound enough defense. And what I mean by that is if you look last night, and the Patriots had some sacks, but the Patriots defense is just built differently. They don't need the splash plays to be dominant. Their defense is predicated on getting you off the field and punting on third down. In the Bucs with their soft coverage, they allow too many third downs. They allow too many third longs as a result when the pressure doesn't get there. So I think that's the Achilles heel.
Yeah.
Just think about it this way, JP. If you were to say that the Bucs only had 1 sack in the Super Bowl, not 3, and if they only pressured Mahomes a third of the time rather than almost every single play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying the Bucs lose the Super Bowl, but it's not 31-9.
No.
It might be 31-30 or 31-28.
Right.
So that's the difference. Is when this defense is splashy, like the Colts game.
Yeah.
They can get the job done. But in games where they don't have the splash plays, like Washington, they're mortal.
It's a great point, and I'm hoping that Carlton Davis fixes that. If he can take the best receiver man to man, they can tighten up their coverage on the number 2 guy, and I think they can get off third down a little bit more. Hopefully that happens. I think I thought Carlton played pretty well. But his first game back, a bit rusty. Did miss some plays, but took Pitts out of the game for the most part.
So here's the other thing, JP. Let's address the elephant in the room. Jamel Dean started at corner over Sean Murphy-Bunting. Sean Murphy-Bunting was relegated to just the nickel corner role, which is what he plays anyways. He's the slot, but he used to be the starter in base, opposite of Carlton Davis. Then on third downs, he would move to the slot where Jamel Dean would stay on the outside. But now Dean is the better cornerback. He really is. He's better. Yeah. He's more consistent, steadier.
Mm-hmm.
So when Mike Edwards comes back, and Mike Edwards is their splashiest player, right, with the forced fumble in Indianapolis, leads the team with 3 interceptions, and he's really been kind of playing that nickel and playing it better than Ross Cockrell when SMB was out. So when Edwards comes back from a suspension, I know they like Sean Murphy-Bunting. Sean Murphy-Bunting is the most inconsistent defensive back they have.
Yep.
And I like Sean. He's got the potential to be a lot better than he is, but it all comes down to consistency.
Yep.
In my opinion, the best starting defense, the defensive secondary for the Bucs is Whitehead and Winfield at safety, Edwards in the slot, Carlton Davis and Dean as your starters, and that means you're benching Sean Murphy-Bunting. I don't think it's going to happen, JP, but it should happen that way.
And frankly, though, Scott, that's not. I don't think it's that big a deal because number one, they all get hurt. I mean, you're not going to any game with all those guys healthy. Just not. It ain't happening. It hasn't happened. You need them all.
Right.
I mean, if you got depth like that, you're in good shape. I mean, I don't think Sean Murphy. He could see it as a demotion, but it's not. And I think, this comes back to the team aspect. These guys don't see things. I don't think they see it. Sure, every player is going to notice that on the depth chart. I get it. But the bottom line is they're sitting in that meeting room going, dude, we're going to need you in this spot, and this spot, and that spot. You're going to have to fill in. It takes a village, Scott. Takes a village.
It does, right?
takes a village to build the whole. But and this is what's so great about this team is they all know that, and they're going to be called upon in crucial situations. And that's why, all these wins that they're piling up, they're good team wins, really, really good team wins. They're getting contributions from everybody and different guys, every week it seems somebody else steps up. So that's what, to me, that's a hallmark of a well-rounded team that can go all the way. And we can see the Patriots and the Bucs in the Super Bowl.
We could, man. It's heading that way. I actually predicted that last week in my 2-point conversion. I said if the Bucs make the Super Bowl, they will play the Patriots, and it's looking that way. I'll tell you what, a Kansas City Chiefs, New England Patriots AFC Championship game would be must-see TV.
Epic.
Would it not?
Epic. And it's what, it's like what I asked Arians yesterday. And this is what they should all be thinking about. Everybody's thinking about the next game. I get it. But it's going to come down to the number one seeds. Whoever the number one seeds are, Scott, is going to have a tremendous advantage because you do not want to go to Lambeau in late January. I don't care. Yeah, you can say we won there last year, whatever. That was a 35-degree day with half the stadium filled. It ain't going to be that way again. Trust me on that. And you'd much rather be in that nice 70 degrees and sleeping in your bed the night before. So to me, Bucs got to run the table, and they got to get that number one seed. And I think if they do, they will. I don't think the Cardinals are going to run the table. I don't think the Packers are going to run the table, but I think the Bucs have a great chance to run the table. Your thoughts?
Yeah, in watching that Bills game last night, I think the Buccaneers are a better team than Buffalo, especially in Tampa.
No question.
Okay, so I think that's the biggest hurdle. I just don't see how the Saints come in here and beat the Buccaneers. The Saints are worse than they were, obviously, this losing streak.
Yep.
Than the team that beat Tampa Bay. Listen, if the Buccaneers crap the bed and lose to the Saints, shame on them.
They don't deserve
no business doing so.
Yep. They don't deserve it.
So then it's like the Carolina Panthers. They just fired their offensive coordinator. It's a team in disarray.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a sweep. You've got the Jets on the road. The hardest part in that game might be the weather, right? I mean, it's the Jets. So to me, I don't see the Buccaneers losing another game. I think 13-3, not 13, 14-3. Now we're at 17 games. 14-3 is going to be the record. And if it's not at this point in time, with everything hanging in the balance, I mean, shame on this team.
That's right.
But I think 14-3, they're going to need the Cardinals to trip up, and then you're looking at some tiebreakers, and maybe the Cardinals trip up twice. They have the Rams. That's going to be a game that it's going to be kind of do or die for the Rams.
Yep.
In terms of playoff seeding, and it's their only shot at a hope of getting the division title away from Arizona. They've got to win that game. They want to avenge their loss from earlier this year. And I'm not sure who else the Cardinals have on their schedule.
They got Seattle. They got Dallas. They got to play Dallas, I'm pretty sure.
Dallas, that's right.
Yeah, they got Dallas. At Dallas, I believe. I'm not sure where that game is, but the Cowboys are going to, Cowboys are suddenly in a dogfight for the division now. So, they've got to play their best football. So I think they have the best shot to do it, and they just go out and prove it. So, all right, partner, tell everybody how they can get the great stuff at Pewter Report, all the content you guys are putting out.
Just put up my 2-point conversion column today. You can check that out on pewterreport.com. We've got the latest injury news from yesterday. We're starting our Bucs Bills preview on pewterreport.com. So if you haven't checked out our website, join the over 2 million unique visitors we have this year on pewterreport.com. And also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pewter Reports. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube page, Pewter Report TV. We do podcasts on the Buccaneers at 4 o'clock every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then on game days before the game and after the game on Pewter Report TV on YouTube.
You guys are awesome. You're everywhere. We're on YouTube now. It was our first day on YouTube. We're very excited.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good for you. We'll have to talk about that. Have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, teach me how to monetize that sucker. All right, Scotty. Thanks, thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
Okay, JP.
All right, buddy. Great, Scott Reynolds there, Pewter Report. Fantastic content. If you're a Bucs fan, you got to be checking that out each and every day, and all the great content they're putting out. All right, we will take a break. TJ Rives coming up at 11:15. When we come back, we'll get into some other stuff around the league. There's a new mandate that's come down in the NBA that's interesting. The Heisman finalists are out, and my God, Heisman voters have noticed that there's a defensive side of the ball. A shocking development. That's and much more when we come back. Stay with and the Knowles. We got Knowles news. Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up. JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. And I want to talk about the experience that you get at the Gold and Diamond Source. It's just different. First of all, when you walk in, there are one-of-a-kind collections that you won't find anywhere else. You'll see some of the best designers only at the Gold and Diamond Source. And every diamond is hand-selected by for rarity, purity, and beauty. That's a big, big deal. He's an expert in the business, been doing this for over 30 years. So you're going to get the best diamonds at the best prices. They also offer in-house custom design jewelry. If you want to design something yourself, you can do that. And guys, are you looking for that baller watch, that great Rolex watch? They've got a fantastic selection of pre-owned Rolex watches for great prices. So go check them out. And every Gold and Diamond Source piece comes with the most elegant packaging, including lighted gift boxes. That's the new rage. That's going to wow your girl. So, guys, get on down to the Gold and Diamond Source and get this rare experience. It's the best in the business. Tampa Bay's family jeweler for generations.
Hey, JP here for the Blackrock Bar and Grill, and they got a new menu out, Johnny. This is unbelievable. Some incredible burger creations. Here's my new favorite, mac and cheese burger. A pound, half pound of certified Angus beef, American cheese, bacon, finished with our macaroni and cheese. Are you kidding me? Or a nacho burger with fried jalapenos, grilled onions. They got a ghost pepper chipotle burger. That's hot. Or the Fat Elvis burger. I mean, there's so many good burgers on this thing. It's amazing. What do you like?
I've been taking a look at the seafood section of this summer menu. 8 jumbo shrimp. Unbelievable, man. It goes perfectly with their burgundy mushrooms.
Oh, I love the mushrooms.
It's delicious.
So good. Of course, you get the steak on a 755-degree stone. You cook it right there in the garlic butter, the casino butter. It's fillets. You can do your shrimp on it, your chicken. It's unlike any other place. It's the Blackrock Bar and Grill. You got to go. It's a new menu. Tell them JP sent you. Brandon and Carrollwood. Get to the Blackrock.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. If you have any damage to your home, like stucco damage from a bad stucco dude, there's a lot of that going around in Tampa. I did not know that, but a lot of faulty stucco work, which can bring black mold into your home. If you've noticed some cracking in your stucco, you better get it checked. And then you're probably going to have to make a claim against your insurance agency. And if you do that, they're going to lowball you. That's kind of how it works. And that's why you need Christopher Palermo. He is experienced in this type of law, has recovered millions and millions for his clients. So you can contact him at Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com, PalermoPA.com. If you have any storm damage, water intrusion, and you have to have a claim made with your homeowner's insurance company, that's where he is the expert, and he will fight for you, just like he's fighting to keep the Rays in Tampa Bay full time. We'll have some updates on that as well. We have Christopher later on the show later on this week. So just give him a call. Go to the website, PalermoPA.com, and he will help you in your claim. And you will need an attorney. Trust me on this one. All right. By the way, if you ever want to check out the show on YouTube, we are now on YouTube. The great Nick Geddes, technical wizard that he is, has us up on YouTube. So subscribe so you'll be able to, you'll know exactly when an episode drops. When we're on live. We're also on live on Twitter and on Facebook, and we have our app. The app is a great way to listen to the show, by the way. Just go to your app store, FanStream Sports, all one word, download it. This lives on your phone right there. We don't take any of your personal information or bug you with anything. It's simply there to just tap that app, and the show will come up at any time. So if you missed it, if you missed the start of the show, if you missed it and you want to listen at lunchtime or afternoon drive or at night, on the weekends, whatever, we're always there for you. We archive all the shows on the app, and you can also go to FanStreamSports.com, the website, where we always have some fun stuff there as well. So many, many ways to consume the content that we're putting out here, and we're very proud of what we're doing here. We got great guests each and every day. I've been covering sports in this market for over 25 years. Nick works for Outkick.com and adds a lot to the show, obviously, and a lot to the website. So check it all out. If you're Tampa Bay sports fan, we're covering it all here each and every day. So it's a one-stop shop, and we'll get you hooked up each and every day. I want to give a shout out to the FSU women's soccer team last night that won the national championship in PKs last night. Almost won it in regulation. Should have won it in regulation. They a couple of calls went against them. Should have got some penalty kicks in the regular part of the game, but they lost in PKs last year. Can you imagine the heartbreak there? But they got all the way back to the final this year, and they won last night 4-3 in PKs. A couple local players are on that squad. Alyssa Connerton from Bloomingdale High School. Congratulations to you. She's one of the, I guess I'm looking at her bio right now. One of the contributors off the bench. So she definitely is contributed to this national championship. So I was looking at their roster, and it's made up of a lot of international players. So they're recruiting internationally, but they got Alyssa Connerton. I remember that name too. So I know she's won a national championship before. They're they've won what 2 in the last 4 years now.
3-8,
3-8, and 2 in the last 4 years, and got a couple of. I guess she's the only one from the Tampa Bay area. But where's the other girl? Jordan Howell is. I'm trying to find her name here on their roster. She is Jalen Howell. I'm sorry, Jalen Howell. She is the daughter of John Howell, who played for the Buccaneers original Super Bowl team. You guys remember John Howell? He was number 35, tough safety special teams guy from Colorado. They now live in Colorado. She's their best player, Jalen Howell. So a little Tampa Bay connection there. And the Seminoles win the national championship. And speaking of these Seminoles, we started in the opening segment. I told you a little bit about this. The FSU's Board of Trustees is set to name Vince Tyra, or Tyra, I believe you pronounce it Tyra, as their new athletic director. David Coburn is stepping down. And yesterday I got a bunch of calls on this from some concerned Seminole fans. And so I reached out to a lot of my contacts, a couple of them within the Louisville athletic department, and got some very, very alarming news about this particular guy. He's only been an athletic director for 3 years. He comes from the corporate world, hedge fund guy. I mean, complete transparency, not a big fan of the hedge fund guys, Stu Sternberg. But he was brought in to kind of clean up the program, and he's got this reputation as kind of being a tie and firing Bobby Petrino and bringing in Scott Satterfield, who won ACC Coach of the Year his first year, but has been rather pedestrian since then, and the relationship has soured tremendously between he and Satterfield. The words like fraud, buffoon, were thrown around. Everybody in the athletic department is praying that he goes to FSU. Very, very unpopular among Louisville fans. And some people have chalked this up to the fact that he's a quote tough guy that has held their basketball coach feet to the fire, guy that he hired through this whole extortion attempt by his assistant coach. We don't need to get into all the details, but the bottom line is that athletic department has gone from one of the best in the nation when Tom Urich was running it, and they had some scandals, no doubt about that. But they've just gone from the top to very mediocre. I think number 1 to 74, where they're currently ranked in the CBS Total Sports roster. And financially, I've been told he doesn't fundraise. He's not a big fundraiser. And, a lot of people are saying this is a guy with a great business mind who come in and really produce revenue. Well, that's not what he's done at Louisville. That's not what he's done to Louisville at all. They're in a terrible situation financially. And from what I told, he's not added to the financial coffers at all, come up with any, great shakes in terms of making money for Louisville. So I don't know why. And as far as I know, he's on thin ice there. Now, they have a president that a lot of people believe is not a big athletic supporter, if I can say that. and I think a lot of people have blamed the president, and that may be true. I don't know the guy personally. I'm just going on what I've heard from very trusted sources and just passing it on to you folks and you Seminole fans. But if I'm Florida State in this very, very important time, possible conference realignment, and there may be a super conference on the way, you're going to need somebody that is intimately connected with all the big players, a Michael Kelly type that USF has, that's been, running the college football playoff and been, athletic directors and in athletics at a high administration level for his entire career. That's the type of guy FSU should be hiring, not a guy that's been in business all his life and does not have the long-term connections that a Michael Kelly does, that Radakovich does. Dan Radakovich is just hired by Miami away from Clemson. I mean, these guys are the elites and the guys that run college football, and Florida State is going and basically hiring an outsider at a critical time. This is a just on its face is a terrible hire. I just don't understand why they would do this. It's foolhardy in my opinion. And at a critical time, they just went through 2 years with David Coburn, who is, from the business world. He's a bean counter. That's not, and he self-admittedly is like, I'm not that guy. I'm not that well-connected guy. And the scuttlebutt is that Tyra and David Coburn are very close because they're, quote, business guys, and they're the two athletic directors in the ACC that kind of connected on that level. And Coburn has been pushing, although he's recused himself, he's the one that has been pushing for Tyra behind the scenes to be the next guy. I guess because I don't know why FSU would look to a guy with this background and this resume. And truth be told, I talked to some people that work with him at his former company, and they didn't have great things to say about him either. So I'm very, very dubious of this particular choice. Now it's supposed to become official today at noon. And I do know that Florida State officials in the last 24 hours have certainly heard a lot of negativity surrounding this possible hire once it got out publicly. So I hope that they just do their due diligence. If he's the man for the job and they do their due diligence and they really feel like he's the guy for the job, okay. But there's no hurry here. Coburn is staying through June. So I don't know why there's this rush to hire the next guy. It's not like people are beating down the door to get this guy. He's on very thin ice at Louisville. Very thin ice. Last night, the board of directors met about the situation, and there wasn't a feeling of, hey, we got to keep this guy. In fact, I was told by someone in the meeting that there was very, very little support for him in terms of the board. Normally, the board will hear from a lot of people and go, hey, we got to keep this guy. I'll chip in some money to make sure we keep this guy. I was told at that meeting, none of that happened. So if this is a guy that Louisville's not even trying to hold on to, sounds like the Willie Taggart situation in Oregon. If they're not, jumping through hoops to hold on to this guy, then why the hell does Florida State want him? I mean, that should be reason enough to take a pause. You got, Miami, one of your chief rivals, has gone and plucked maybe the best AD in college athletics in Radakovich, and you're going to hire a guy that's being kicked out of Louisville, who by any measure has not done a great job there? I completely do not get this hire whatsoever. And, I look at, like Michael Kelly would be a guy that I would go after. Alford, who's running the Seminole Boosters right now, who's done a phenomenal job there since he's been hired. He was up for the job, and why would you pass on a guy that's already been there and has Florida State connections already, has been working basically within the program, to go get an outsider that has zero connection to Florida State, zero connection. And what is this overwhelming reason that you're going to hire this guy? I don't see it. I don't get it. And again, I have no personal, I don't know the guy. I have no dog in the fight. But when I'm just looking at this from the outside, at his resume and other resumes that certainly have great connections to Florida State, have much more experience in this level, well connected to the hierarchies of the SEC and other places that are going to be making these decisions, these huge decisions in the next few years, why you would go hire an outsider, so to speak, makes no sense. And I know people are saying, well, it's a great business mind. We're a lot of money in the hole we need to find. I don't get it. Show me proof that he's a great business mind. What company has he built? What company has he taken to the next level? I don't see that. So I don't know. Florida State, this is a huge hire. We have a new president coming in, and you better get this right. And there are so many alarm bells on this guy that I think I need to look elsewhere. And if they complete this deal, it's not going to be popular among the fans. I can tell you that. And I think I talked to one other highly placed administrator, and it was like, it was a chuckle. It was like, you can do a lot better than that guy. You can do a lot better than that guy. You're Florida State, for God's sakes. So we'll see what happens. Rant over. Put that on the internet. See how many likes it gets. I know we might have to put that. Might be coming up later. That'd be the first. I think it might be our first little video one coming up. Yeah. Again, I have no dog in this fight. I'm just, I'm a concerned FSU fan more than anything. And as a reporter and a journalist going out and doing some digging yesterday, you find alarm bells and like, what are we doing here? I mean, when you're hiring AD, it should be like 99.9% positive. You should be saying, is he good enough? He's great, but is he good enough? That should be the only argument, not like, is this guy going to be a disaster? That should not be a question. But you said, Florida State, they're bigger than this, is the word that you used from the administrator.
they've been acting like they're like the small school for years now. It's really odd to me. And then you see like a team or a program like Miami that just threw money at everything. It's like, if we're going to fix this, we're going to fix it with money. Right.
Yeah. It's a good time to maybe kind of transition to Miami, and they're hiring of Cristobal and Radakovich.
Yeah.
And they've got, you mentioned this yesterday. What I think is the huge key, this new health center that they have down there that made like a $400 million profit last year. I mean, to me, the only way Miami fixes this is if they build an on-campus stadium, and I don't know where the hell they would do it on their campus. There's no room, but they'll figure it out, I guess. And need an atmosphere down, because right now they don't have one, and the Hard Rock Stadium is zero.
Yeah, and I was going to bring this before we go to break. Cristobal is speaking right now, and from all the reporters who are in the room, Miami media were told before it started not to ask him about the process of him being hired.
What is with this censorship thing going on in America? Like, you can't ask certain questions. Like, that was never a thing. You can't ask questions now. You can't. I hope to God that somebody in that freaking press conference has the backbone and asks about the process.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, we'll report more on it later in the show, kind of deciphering the quotes here and what's being said. But that's the early word right now.
I guess Manny Diaz put out something yesterday.
Yes, he did.
I didn't read the whole thing, but it was very critical of the process.
His first kind of statement was, I'm very unhappy with the manner in which things have transpired the last few weeks. We're real people, real families, and we've been doing all this work, and now you've really impacted all of us the last 3 weeks negatively because of all apparently what's going on. So hopefully we know the specifics going forward on that.
Listen, there's no good way to do these hires. But right now, the situation as it exists in college football, it's just broken, man. It is broken in so many ways. I mean, if you're going to get the ball better than any Diaz, but the way Miami went about it sucks. You're sending him out on the recruiting trail at critical times. He's making all these promises because he's been promised by the administration. I'm sure, no, you're the guy. And then this happens, and he looks like an idiot. His credibility is destroyed because of the lies that he was told. So I get it, but how else do you do it?
The whole system needs to be rebooted.
Yeah, no question about it. There needs to be some guardrails put in place for the coaches, for the players, for everybody. All right, quick break. When we come back, TJ Rives going to join us 2 minutes away, the sideline guy from the Buccaneers. Stay with us.
Are you in the market for a refinance or looking for a new home? You got to call my man, Fitz the Mortgage Guy, Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. I have got literally a notebook here of testimonials on what a great job he's done for so many of our listeners. Scott saved me $1,200 up front. Scott paid for my appraisal. Scott got my PMI taken off. Scott helped me pay off my car. He didn't give them money, but he refinanced everything for these folks and showed them a great strategy to get rid of a lot of their debt. He's not just a mortgage broker. He's like a financial counselor, and he's passionate to get you the lowest rate and keep you from paying those upfront lender fees. You know those folks that say, we'll pay your closing costs? Well, then they come back and hit you with all these other fees. Folks, go to a local guy who's got a great reputation, been in the business for 20 years here, to 3,000 local mortgages. Scott Fitzgerald. Email him, scott@amstampa.com. That's scott@amstampa.com. You selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now. So go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Blackrock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. Will close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com. Hey, did you start a new gig, a little side hustle during COVID? Well, if you don't have business insurance, you could be risking your personal fortune. That's how it works. JP here for Italiano Insurance. That's right. If you don't have business insurance, you can get sued and lose everything you've worked for. Not a good idea. Call the good folks at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. And if you have existing business insurance, shop it around. They could save you thousands of dollars as well. 813-877-7799. Who wants free mobile service? I do. And you can get 30 gigs a month. Companies like TNT service, T-Mobile, great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much,
Come back. FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo at palermopa.com. All right, let's chat with our man TJ Rives, Bucs sideline guy, also calls college football games for Compass Media, all around boxing aficionado as well. What's up, TJ? How are you?
Man of many hats here
Yes,
on
are.
a Tuesday. How are we feeling today? 3-game win streak.
Yeah.
Buccaneers looking good.
Yeah.
Food tastes better. Everybody sleeps better. Everybody's in a better mood in and around the facility, in and around the team, in and around the community.
I think it's wonderful.
We like all of those things right about now.
We do. Speaking of boxing, you got me all riled up about this Tommy Fury Jake Paul event, which I was excited for, but now we've got a little wrinkle in this. Is Tyron Woodley is now going to replace Tommy Fury.
Boxing.
Yes,
it's boxing. You can never figure this stuff out. The line has been blurred for many years with professional wrestling, but and especially with Jake Paul being the YouTuber. So Tommy Fury was supposed to be here, the half brother of the heavyweight champ Tyson Fury. And the real sizzle that we kept talking about is that he is a somewhat skilled, tested fighter boxer.
Real fighter.
Not a UFC guy,
right.
not a joke in terms of, social media star or former MMA guy. So for whatever reasons, and there have been some, the first clue that we had that there was trouble was when Tommy Fury didn't come over to the United States for the press conference announcements in Las Vegas.
Right.
And then 2 days later at the one that we were at in Tampa. When he was not here for that raised eyebrows because that was a big moment to sell this thing everywhere. And Jake Paul was doing his part to do that for the upcoming fight here in Tampa. You interviewed him. He was on everywhere.
Yeah.
He was doing his part. And when Tommy Fury didn't show up, that had the boxing media going, what is truly going on here? Now, if he is to be believed, and I know most of the people that are listening don't care as much about this and care more about the box, so we'll get to that in a second. But if the most of the boxing people that saw that said something else is really going on, and if it's to be believed, he has had bronchitis and problems with his rib cage for like a month, and he finally got cracked in sparring. He said yesterday in a video he got cracked in sparring about a week ago and has a couple of broken ribs in addition to bronchitis, all kinds of problems. So he just can't do it. He can't train. He doesn't, doesn't want to come over here and get humiliated.
Yeah.
So there you go. So he's gone. And the guy that Jake Paul fought in August, Tyron Woodley, who's a former UFC world champion with virtually no boxing background, will be the guy that steps in. But Woodley was competitive in the fight with Jake Paul. He's just not a skilled fighter either.
Right,
so that's what we get as our main event.
But
So
we're gonna get, and then we got Frank Gore and Darren Williams too. So that on the
Darren
card,
Williams. Now
Amanda Serrano.
that may be, no offense to Amanda Serrano, who's now the best boxer on the card, the female world champion, and she's a talented fighter, and she's going to sell the daylights out of this herself the next couple of weeks. She's going to do her part and do a great job with Jake Paul. But Darren Williams and Frank Gore, Darren Williams, a former basketball all-star, former U.S. Olympian, former star at Illinois, number 1 pick in the NBA, played over a decade in the NBA. He is legitimately serious about a boxing career.
Yeah, he is.
Frank Gore's been talking about this, a former 10,000-yard rusher in the NFL, borderline Hall of Fame case. Yeah. He has been talking about, I want to hurt somebody in a boxing ring for about 3 years. So this could be very interesting, JP, on the undercard.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun night. And we're not pretending like this is, Roy Jones Jr. against Antonio Tarver.
Right.
We're not pretending like this. Right. It's a night to go out on December 18th, get a ticket, have some fun. It's going to be a social event. I mean, Jake Paul brings, I'll just be honest with you, I had no idea his social media following, but my God.
Right.
I mean, I think we did something. My Jake Paul interview did tens of thousands of views. I'm like, Jesus, we're like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Here's the thing that Showtime keeps coming back with, which is it is bringing something that we need right now to the sport, an audience. And we don't care if the audience is a social media,
whatever
fandom of teenage girls, early 20-something guys.
Right.
Well, it's an audience, and there will be an audience for this. And I am told, I don't know what you've heard, I'm told they have already sold thousands and thousands of tickets through this, and it's primarily Jake Paul driving it with social media following. And I'll be very curious. Are they going to get 10,000 at the Amalie Arena? I don't know. Are they going to get 12,000? They might. Stay tuned.
I think we're hopefully going to have some tickets to give away this week, so stay tuned for that as well. All right, let's talk Buccaneers, my friend. This 3-game win streak, I think, is very, very significant in many ways. The win over the Falcons, nondescript to many, but anytime you go on the road in a division game, as you know, it's going to be tough. And, the 30-17 score was not as close as the game was. That was a beatdown. And the Bucs, especially their defense in the second half was phenomenal. I love the way this team is playing all around offensively. Chris Godwin was a monster. I just think they're the most well-rounded team in the NFL right now. Am I wrong? I know we're biased.
Be considered biased.
Yeah, we are.
Certainly, I could be considered biased, but they are looking like what we saw last December when they put it together for 4 straight wins and then got ready for the postseason. This looks like the same thing, and amazingly, they are still horrifically beat up in the secondary with more injuries coming off of last week's game. I said in the pregame, we are going to see Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, and Sean Murphy-Bunting together for the first time since the first quarter of Week 1 against the Cowboys. And then I quickly said, and I don't know how long that's going to last. It may be a series, it may be a quarter, it may be a half with the rate of injury. And unfortunately, sure enough, Jamel Dean left the game in the third quarter. Murphy-Bunting got hurt at the very end of the game as well. Hopefully they're both okay. We don't know. But this team has fought through that and has continued to win games and get to 9-3. And I am here to testify on the FanStream JP show that the schedule is set up. That Buffalo team is reeling. We'll get to that in a second, what happened there last night. They're reeling, and you've got a very favorable final 4 games after that with Saints, Panthers twice, and Jets. You have an opportunity right now, got to win them one at a time, to run the table and win the final 8 games.
Absolutely.
And maybe be the number 1 seed. So that's easy for us to say, media, observers, fans, whatever. But the way that they continue to put it together and favorable opposition after the Buffalo game, nobody with a winning record, I like what I see. It is similar to what I saw at the end of last year that says this team is putting it together at the right time. Let's hope it continues.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Buffalo game coming up this weekend. I said this earlier. You got a problem when your fan base is tougher than you are as a football team. Bills Mafia, I think, would be a better test in a lot of ways in terms of toughness, because this Buffalo Bills team, I'm sorry, they got bullied last night. They've been bullied all year.
Did.
Josh Allen's a tremendous talent. They got a lot of good players on his team. There's no doubt about it. But I'm here to tell you that team is soft, and the Bucs can be physical with anybody. They can beat you up. They can beat you in so many ways. That's why I say they're the best, most well-rounded team. And I think, they're going to be looking at this film saying we can push these guys around up front on both sides of the football. And, if you can do that, you can win just about any game in the NFL. Josh Allen's a talent, no doubt about it. They've got some weapons, but short week for them. They got physically beat up last night. Their bodies are going to be hurting. Advantage Bucs once again this weekend.
Agreed.
Yeah,
especially at home, and the Bills Mafia will be down here. I am told there will be 10,000 or more. How many of them have tickets? I don't know, but they will be here.
Stocking up on folding tables.
I mean, you saw that last night with the wind and the temperature in the 20s and the snow blowing sideways. I would want to get out of that too. I mean, my wife wanted to go with me on a road trip to Buffalo when we went there 4 years ago, and I looked at her and said, why? Other than Niagara Falls, what is there in Buffalo that would appeal to you to want to go there? And so, of course, they want to get out of there and come here. And let's give credit where it's due. I have to eat some crow on this one. I thought the Patriots would be bad again this year, but Bill Belichick has turned it around, and that was a master class last night on coaching and Xing and O'ing. And he and Nick Saban both. What Saban did to Georgia, and now 48 hours later, what Belichick did to Buffalo, is just another example of why these guys are Hall of Fame coaches with their game plan, their adjustments. Belichick said last night, we're going to line up in different formations than what we've shown. We're going to play old Navy triple option type stuff from his Navy background. Did you love him wearing the Navy mask on his face talking to ESPN? They were going old Navy blocking schemes, 6 offensive linemen for most of the game, and Buffalo had no clue how to adjust and figure it out, even though that they knew it was coming. I mean, I can't tell you. I think I saw at least 10 times where Buffalo had 9 or 10 guys on the line of scrimmage and could not stop a run play.
Nope.
That is credit the Patriots. So a master class by Belichick. And now let's bring it to this week. How damaged psychologically is Buffalo right now after they lost to the god-awful Jaguars and scored 6 points, after they got run over by Indianapolis and Jonathan Taylor, and now they got run over again? How damaged are they psychologically? Valid point, I think.
I think you could see it after the game last night. Micah Hyde lost his shiz in the post press game. Hey, look, and after being out there and getting beat up like that, I'm sure he wasn't in a good mood. And then some, weenie ass reporter like we are comes in there and says, "Are you embarrassed by being run over?" I don't blame him for that type of reaction, to be honest.
Welcome to what happens when you lose, right? And I agree. I mean, they had so many expectations this year of being a Super Bowl contender. That is their arch rival right now, their big brother that has bullied them. I think, am I correct? We got to look at it. Tom Brady at one point beat the Buffalo Bills, I believe, 18 times in a row.
Yes,
I'm not exaggerating.
I
think it was
correct.
9 straight years where they swept them.
Yeah.
These guys are so sick in Buffalo of the New England Patriots, they vomit.
And then they get Tom Brady the next week.
They come out there last night and just can't stop the run. I mean, Mac Jones had thrown one pass deep into the fourth quarter. I put on social media, I don't know if you saw it, Bill Belichick is legitimately, purposely trying to win a game with one pass.
He is. Yeah, no
question.
That is
what he's trying to do.
Yeah, no question.
To the point of, I will win whatever way, however I want, whenever I want. It was wild. And again, you just wonder if psychologically, it's not that their season is over, if they're not the same team right now. And the Buccaneers should take advantage of that Sunday.
I completely agree. TJ Reeves joining us here, Bucs sideline guy. When you look at this team, and we talked about Chris Godwin a little bit, but this receiver tandem, and Mike Evans, by the way, nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year, may just win it too, by the way. What a tremendous resume he has there. And I just look at both of these young men, and Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, and I just see two of the finest human beings I've ever met in my life. And they're wide receivers in the NFL. I mean, diva factor zero. And they bust their ass. Godwin, I've said this for a long time, is the best all-around wide receiver in the game for the way he blocks, the way he runs, his target percentage. I mean, the guy does it all. Great. I think he's the best contested catch guy in the league. And he probably won't even make the Pro Bowl. But I have so much respect for both of them. And I think they're going to be a historic duo. I think when it's all said and done, you look at the numbers and what they've accomplished, we're going to be talking about them in the same vein as many of the great historic duos. What do you think?
Yeah, so I'm thinking while you're saying all of that about Chris Carter and Randy Moss, which obviously both of them are now in the Hall of Fame. And
Swan
Moss
and
was on a
Stallworth.
completely different elite level in terms of speed. He's Mike Evans' size, but faster, and that's no disrespect to Mike. That's no disrespect to anybody else. The guy was a freak at that size, being able to run like 4.2. Like JP Peterson back in the day, being that big and being able to run 4.2 is like criminal.
In the 30.
And so that's why he dominated. But you think about Jerry Rice and John Taylor for those great 49er teams, or go back to, I know I'm going way back. Nick's going to roll his eyes. He has no idea here about Lynn Swann and John Stallworth. I mean, just pick it. Pick whichever tandem you want, even moving forward in the modern era of all of this. These guys are, Reggie Wayne with Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning at the controls for Indianapolis. These guys, if they stay together here on this team, and why wouldn't you if you're Jason Light and the Glazers break the bank to keep both of them here?
Cap's going up.
They are going to smash every Buccaneer receiving record and both be, all things being equal, they stay healthy. Mike Evans is already on the trajectory to be a Hall of Fame candidate. He will be a Hall of Fame candidate. Chris Godwin appears to be on his way there. Again, it's very early for both of them. But I love what you said. Football player first and foremost. I am going to go block people. I am going to go across the middle, Chris Godwin, pass knowing I'm going to take a pop or two, consistently open on third down.
Oh, did we lose him?
Defender, etc. Incredible player. Player, and 31 other teams missed on him round after round, and the Bucs finally grabbed him. In the fourth round, wasn't it? Third round.
Yeah.
So, and give credit where it is due right now, because this team has got weapons galore, and continues to roll them out. And good luck. Good luck now. I'm not saying they're invincible, unbeatable, but good luck on how you stop this offense game in and game out, or series in and series out with all of those weapons.
Yeah. They're just a tremendous tandem on and off the field. All right, one last thing for you. You cover college football as well. Miami hires Mario Cristobal and Dan Radakovich, by the way, from Clemson. Let that go under valued here. I think Miami's making a big push to build an on-campus stadium. I think that's why they're bringing in Radakovich. And to create an atmosphere down there of college football, because they don't have it in Hard Rock. We'll never have it in Hard Rock. And they're going all in. And here's FSU hiring a Louisville cast-off and Vince Tyra, whoever this cat is, former venture capitalist.
I've seen you on social media, and I didn't hear you this morning, but I know you're not pleased.
No, at all. This is a joke of a hire
for them. Yeah.
If they do it, I mean, it's not official yet. I think it's supposed to happen at noon today, but this is a joke of a hire if they go through with it. But and then people are pissed off the way it went down, and Manny Diaz is pissed off. I get it, but this is a big move for Miami. Your thoughts?
Well, yeah, and Cristobal was a logical figure long ago to maybe be the Miami coach, because he played there and he coached on the coaching staff there back at
in the glory days.
Davis was in the heyday.
Two national champion.
There's obviously connection there. You just wonder. There's so many layers to this. You wonder if when he saw Willie Taggart, speaking of Florida State program, and the Goliath that they are. Again, we are all the way across the continent diagonally.
Yep.
So we don't comprehend they are a Goliath in the Pacific Northwest in terms of recruiting, the money,
brand,
the facilities. People, yes, the people that have been in their facilities are talking about there are NFL teams that do not have all of this stuff. This is comparable to what the SEC has or better. With that Marcus Mariota athletic facility that they have, that has their locker room, their dining room, their weight room, their recreational lounge. People said, my God, this is unreal what they have. So for Cristobal to see what happened to Willie Taggart and still say, I'm going to leave this at Oregon when I could sit here for another 2 or 3 years probably and win a bunch and get another contract extension and win a bunch. That means a lot to him. We'll see if it works out. As for the May Diaz stuff, just a quick take here on FanStream, JP.
Yeah.
May Diaz is the same guy that bolted to go take the Temple job and was the Temple coach and was recruiting for Temple. And oh, wait a minute, Miami's now open. Hey, thanks, I'm going to leave in Philadelphia. Yeah. So if you're going to be, and I realize it was only like 3 weeks, but if you're going to be that kind of guy and shift around wherever the better deal is or the best is or whatever, you didn't win enough games. They're also paying him like $8 or $9 million. We should be fired football coaches, by the way.
Oh my
fired
God, yes.
And still get $8 million, $10 million, $20 million.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll go be a defensive coordinator somewhere else. He's got his money. Welcome to it, because you had no problem doing it when you were at Temple. Cristobal works out. Going to be very interesting with Cristobal now in the mix in South Florida, with Billy Napier coming into Gainesville and Mike Norvell trying to make inroads and recruit, and Gus Malzahn wants to recruit in South Florida. Who's going to – first of all, you can't sign everybody, but who's going to come in there and get some of the better players besides Cristobal now at Miami? It's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch, and FSU has to answer, and their answer right now is not good. All right, TJ, tell everybody how they can get all your fantastic content, my friend.
So the Bucs are rolling along. Find the Nothing But Bucs podcast. That's the official Buccaneers podcast on the website, through the mobile app. I recap all the games. I've had more and more people discovering that, obviously, with Buccaneers winning last year, this year, and love the recap. All of Gene Deckerhoff's highlights, our post-game interviews.
Yes.
It's neat to relive the game if you're a Bucs fan, especially after the win. So Nothing But Bucs, wherever you get podcasts, Buccaneers mobile app, etc. And also the Three Dog Thursday podcast, where we predict underdogs. I have a lot of fun on that one as well, where last week we were on Alabama in specific. We picked NFL and college underdogs, and boy, Alabama was impressive for the SEC title win yet again.
Yes.
So anyway, Three Dog Thursday, wherever you get podcasts as well. We have fun with that. It is out originally enough on Thursdays. So Three Dog Thursday.
Shocking.
Look for it. Find it there. And then we talk boxing as well. The Big Fight Weekend website. We'll be talking about that Jake Paul fight coming up. Any of the big boxing, Canelo Alvarez, heavyweight title fights, whatever it is. BigFightWeekend.com is the website and the podcast there with that. So I'm a man of many hats, and I always love being on with you.
You're the best, my man. Thank you for your time. We'll chat next week. Go
we
Bucs.
got to go hit a golf ball at some point. The weather is too gorgeous in December.
Yes.
We got to go hit a golf ball when everything calms down, which might be like May. But be well, man.
I'm working too much, but let's do that. Let's connect on that for sure. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right, my friend.
TJ Reeves, ladies and gentlemen. All right, quick break, and when we come back, we are going to get into some interesting. We got the Napier audio, right? We want to hear from Billy Napier, the new coach at Florida. I had a little problem with his press conference. Shocking, right, as a Seminole. I'll tell you why. And some Bills audio coming your way that's quite interesting from last night, so stay with us. Are you in the market for a refinance or looking for a new home? You got to call my man, Fitz the Mortgage Guy, Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. I have got literally a notebook here of testimonials on what a great job he's done for so many of our listeners. Scott saved me $1,200 up front. Scott paid for my appraisal. Scott got my PMI taken off. Scott helped me pay off my car. They didn't give him money, but he refinanced everything for these folks and showed them a great strategy to get rid of a lot of their debt. He's not just a mortgage broker. He's like a financial counselor, and he's passionate to get you the lowest rate and keep you from paying the upfront lender fees. You know those folks that say, we'll pay your closing costs? Well, then they come back and hit you with all these other fees. Folks, go to a local guy who's got a great reputation, been in the business for 20 years here, done 3,000 local mortgages. Scott Fitzgerald. Email him, scott@amstampa.com. That's scott@amstampa.com. Hey, JP here for the Blackrock Bar and Grill, and they got a new menu out, Johnny. This is unbelievable. Some incredible burger creations. Here's my new favorite, mac and cheese burger. A pound, half pound of certified Angus beef, American cheese, bacon, finished with our macaroni and cheese. Are you kidding me? Or a nacho burger with fried jalapenos, grilled onions. They got a ghost pepper chipotle burger. That's hot. Or the Fat Elvis burger. I mean, there's so many good burgers on this thing. It's amazing. What do you like?
I've been taking a look at the seafood section of this summer menu. 8 jumbo shrimp. Unbelievable, man. It goes perfectly with their burgundy mushrooms.
Oh, I love the mushrooms.
It's delicious.
So good. Of course, you get the steak on a 755-degree stone. You cook it right there in the garlic butter, the casino butter. It's fillets. You can do your shrimp on it, your chicken. It's unlike any other place. It's the Blackrock Bar and Grill. You got to go. It's a new menu. Tell them JP sent you. Brandon and Carrollwood, get to the Blackrock. Who wants free mobile service? I do. And you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. And I want to talk about the experience that you get at the Gold and Diamond Source. It's just different. First of all, when you walk in, there are one-of-a-kind collections that you won't find anywhere else. You'll see some of the best designers only at the Gold and Diamond Source. And every diamond is hand-selected by Steve for rarity, purity, and beauty. That's a big, big deal. He's an expert in the business, been doing this for over 30 years. So you're going to get the best diamonds at the best prices. They also offer in-house custom design jewelry. If you want to design something yourself, you can do that. And guys, are you looking for that baller watch, that great Rolex watch? They've got a fantastic selection of pre-owned Rolex watches for great prices. So go check them out. And every Gold and Diamond Source piece comes with the most elegant packaging, including lighted gift boxes. The new rage, that's going to wow your girl. So guys, get on down to the Gold and Diamond Source and get this rare experience. It's the best in the business. Tampa Bay's family jeweler for generations.
Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now. So go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Blackrock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. We'll close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can reach him at palermopa.com. Also by our friends at American Mortgage Services, Scott Fitzgerald. If you are in the market for a refinance or looking for a new house, he is your man. I know a lot of places you'll go, like if it's a community, a builder community, well, they'll say, we have a lender that you need to use, blah, blah, blah. We'll give all this extra stuff to you. You don't have to do that. They're going to give you that extra stuff anyway. So say, hey, I want to, use another mortgage lender. And Scott will get you the lowest rate. It's like personal for him. He will get you the lowest rate. He will pay for your appraisal if you mention the JP show, which is for $500 to $700 value. And he will shop your rate around into a lot of different companies instead of just one. If you go with the builder, you're going to get one company. If you go with your bank, you're going to get one company. So shop it around. Let him do that for you. He'll get you the best rate. All those lender fees that other people charge up front, you're not going to have to pay those. So lower up front, lower rate, better everything. And Scott, by the way, will help you with your personal finances. He'll look at all your debt, whether it be car debt or credit card debt or whatever, when you're refinancing your house, which you should be looking at right now with all the equity you have in it. And he can say, look, why don't you pay off this, pay off that, and you're paying 3% instead of 8, 9, 22% on your credit cards. He does all that for you. So all you got to do is just email him, scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com, and he will get right back to you. And trust me, he will do a great job for you. Great dude. All right. Billy Napier did his opening press conference for the Florida Gators on Sunday, which is kind of odd. It kind of got lost in the wash of the Bucs win and a lot of other things. So I don't think a lot of people heard it, and I watched it. And while I was impressed with what he said, I wasn't very impressed how he said it. And I think it's important, especially in college football. And this is, I know I'm going to be, you FSU honk, what are you doing? I like the choice of him. He's got a great resume. I think he's a really, really good choice for them. But I thought the press conference was underwhelming, to say the least. Let's play a little bit of it here.
We're going to build the best football team in the SEC conference.
At least he has an authentic.
We're going to build the best
accent.
Football program.
That's a plus.
In the SEC conference. We must have a championship approach in everything that we do to accomplish this goal. Every choice, every decision, every habit that we build along the way, we're going to begin with the ending in mind, and that is to be a champion. I've seen this done. I've experienced it myself, and I can promise you that we'll all reap the benefits from this. It's important that everybody take ownership in their role, whatever that may be, right? You may be the equipment manager. You might be a cheerleader. You may run a local business. You might be just a Florida Gator fan in the barbershop, right? But I think it's critical that we rally together, we support each other as we work to establish a really high standard of excellence for this program, both on and off the field. Our mission here is to make life-changing impact on the players, for them to experience success in life as a result of time in our program. As people first and foremost, we're going to be values-based here in what we do. Our players are going to understand commitment. They're going to understand self-discipline. They're going to understand sacrifice, resiliency. We will elite toughness here, right? We will have elite work ethic here, and we're going to operate with great class, and we're going to do things with integrity.
All right, that's enough.
Secondly, we want to promote the
as a media critic, if you were going to the JP school of media school, I would say first and foremost, coach, do not read from a prepared statement in your opening press conference. You need to be it from the heart. And I don't know if he was nervous or there were too many cameras there or what, but keep looking down and reading from a prepared statement is not the way to go. Now, look, you don't have to win the press conference. It's it's nice to see. But I think the guy's got a great pedigree, clearly having worked under some tremendous coaches, and then going out on his own and proving he can win at Louisiana. He did a great job. He's a tremendous recruiter. I think, it remains to be seen if he's going to be able to win at this level. But I think you got the right guy. In this particular space, you got the right guy. But no. You got to bring it from the heart, bro. You got to, like me as a recruit, believe that that's in your soul. Don't read it off a teleprompter, read it off a prepared statement. It brings zero. Be a champion, play it. No, you can't do it. Can't do it.
I know that, like, reading, you brought that up to me the other day, and I went back and watched the whole thing, and I was like, now that you say it, when you got no energy like that, when you have zero made statement like that, it's hard to come over. But
college football is an emotional game.
It
man.
is, but
you got to. These head coaches, it's a tough job. You've got to be salesman. You got to be scientist. You got to be a bricklayer. I mean, you got to have so many great attributes to be good at it. You got to be super smart. You got to be relatable. You got to be authentic. You got to be a badass. You got to be understanding. You have so many qualities. But number one, you got to have charisma. You got to bring the energy. That had the energy level of -2. No good.
And not every coach, though, is going to be like that. I mean, I just watched on Saturday when Baylor won over Oklahoma State. Dave Aranda is just like that, if not worse than that.
Yeah.
And he turned the program around real quickly.
Yeah,
not everybody's going to have the same method.
Press conferences do not score a single point on the field.
No,
they don't.
They really don't.
They don't. So I get it, but they are big in terms of recruiting. You have to put a public face out there. Your first press conference is your public introduction as here I am. I'm the new Gators head coach. Love me. And I'm like, I love you, brother, but man, do you have a hype man? Can you bring a hype man along with
Just
you?
sounded like a really shy country boy. I don't know.
Really did. So whatever, that's not going to mean squat. What means is when you're in the living room with the players and the families, can you sell it? And this guy has a track record of being a tremendous recruiter. So we'll see where it goes from that. But I would say press conference, but it's fine. NBA mandate. This is interesting. You just wrote a story about this for Outkick.com. Tell me about it.
So Canada is implementing a new vaccine mandate. And it's going into effect.
Oh, Canada, you lock your people down.
Maybe they should let you sing tonight at the Lightning game.
Horrible
or next time we're home.
mandate. You suck, Pierre. Well, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Can't you be nice? I'm trying to report the news here, and you want to sing a variation of Canada.
They're out of their mind up there.
Start over.
Socialist freaks.
New vaccine mandate in Canada going into effect on January 15th. So that means that the NBA sent a memo out to their players and coaches today and teams that if you are not fully vaccinated, you will not be allowed to enter the country of Canada to play games, which the only NBA team is Toronto, the Raptors. And if you are not able to present your vaccination proof and you don't play games in Canada, you're subject to fines and suspensions from the NBA.
Interesting. Because these mandates have been declared unconstitutional here in the United States, land of the free, for a little bit longer. They're unenforceable here in the United States. So a United States-based company and league is going to be enforcing suspensions and mandates on the players. I don't see that working out very well for them. And I again, if I may, for just a moment, and again, this is no slam on the vaccine. I've said this many, many times. I'm science-based. I look at the data. I look at many platforms that refuse to talk about the data, whether it be CT data, whether it be VAERS data, whether it be European reporting data. But this is fact-based. Since December, 183 professional athletes, coaches, and college and youth athletes have collapsed abruptly. 108 of them have died. In case you're wondering, that's over 500% increase, 5 times the increase of normal. Some of the athletes have collapsed in the middle of a game, like Christian Eriksen. He survived. But as I said, 108 of them have died. Many of them, due to this article I retweeted from, it's an Israeli article because nobody in the United States is allowed to report anything negative in the vaccine or you'll be doxxed. RTnews.co in Israel went and researched every one of these, and they have in that particular article they have quotes from the families and the players, et cetera, many of them pointing to a recent fully vaccinated player that this is happening to. There is hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of cases now reported of clotting issues, aneurysms, all type of cardiac issues, inflammation of the heart sac, pericarditis, myocarditis. Tremendous amounts of this that have been reported internationally, and all this is happening to these athletes. And these athletes, their risk level is almost nil to COVID. The treatments that are out there now for COVID with monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, HCQ, so many of these things that have proven to work. And there is literally almost zero chance of these athletes dying from COVID. And we also know that vaccinated players are just as likely to pass on the virus and get the virus as the unvaccinated, especially as these vaccines wane. And nobody knows the long-term effects of this vaccine. And the federal government is now, the judge has finally made a ruling that Pfizer has to release all of their data on the trials. And now that it's coming out, we're seeing people are freaking out, the ones that actually take the time to read it. My point being, these athletes are afraid of this vaccine for a reason. There's a lot of data out there that can be consumed, not in the American media, unfortunately. You're not allowed to do that. But I mean, the red flags are everywhere. So if you're wondering why these NBA players don't want to take it and they're risking millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to do so, this is why. It's scary stuff. And I know it's not, 183 is a large number to me. I mean, when you're talking about people that are collapsing of heart issues on the pitch, on the field, 108 of them have died. That's ridiculously alarming. So just for your consumption, your data, not making any judgments on the vaccine. If you're a player and you found out all this data, what would you think? I'd be a little concerned. That's all. All right. Our thanks to TJ Rives, who joined us today, Scott Reynolds, and Dave Mishkin as well. You can get all that on the app. Download the app. We're also on YouTube now. You can watch us each and every day on YouTube. Just Google the JP Peterson Show on Google. Subscribe to it, and you'll get the updates. We're also on Apple and Spotify. Listen to us anytime, anywhere. Great job, Nick Geddes. Thank you guys for listening. Can't do it without you. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 to 12, as we always are, live. Have a great day, everybody. Go Bolts tonight. And